Home security cameras are supposed to give us an added sense of safety, but sometimes the secrets they reveal can be even more scary and chilling than anything we can imagine. These terrifying and disturbing clips show that reality can be even more unsettling than our nightmares. This footage was captured in the middle of the night, and it shows a man dressed in a Michael Myers costume walk up to the house's front door. He appears to be holding a knife and wastes no time trying to open the door. After realizing it's locked, he walks off, only to return 2 more times to try again. On the 3rd try, he can be seen attempting to use his knife to help get the door open. After several attempts, he eventually gives up. Luckily for the owners, they would never see this supposed home intruder again. On an early summer morning in 2016, a woman living in Chicago would discover that her purse had gone missing. Both the woman and her boyfriend would attempt to retrace their steps in hopes of locating where it had been left. This would eventually lead them to go back and check the footage of their home security camera. To their horror, when they would rewind the footage to 3:30 a.m., it would reveal a hooded figure walking around the upstairs of their home. Only a few hours earlier, the couple had fallen asleep on the couch with the TV on. They had forgotten to lock the doors into their house, and this would allow the intruder to get inside, completely undetected. The intruder would stand at the top of the stairs for around 10 full minutes, seemingly contemplating whether to go down the stairs or not. Ultimately, he would leave with nothing but the woman's purse. Some nearby residents had reported seeing the same man around the neighborhood, and had even caught him on camera again, lurking. He was never found. Margaret Woodward was a 68-year-old living in the town of Long Eaton, England. In 2013, her home had been the target of multiple break-ins. After 5 attempts, she finally took the advice of police and installed home security cameras. This camera footage captures a 6th break-in. At around 1 in the morning, a man is seen silently walking around while Margaret is sleeping in her living room. The man is able to take multiple belongings, all while Margaret has no idea.
I'll make the request. I just need you to get him on the phone. He'll take your call. You guys have been friends as long.
She doesn't wake up until he sets off an alarm.
He's already done 35 years. I'm not. The governor pardons him on accident conviction that pleads guilty to the prison murder and gets sentenced to film service. So the upstate DA and the warden get with them.
She then gets out of her chair and chases him away with a cane. In the end, the police were able to use the footage to identify the man. He was 51-year-old Patrick Reed and was responsible for all 6 break-ins. He stole around a total of $1,000 from Margaret. He was sentenced to 4 years and 8 months in prison. It was around 6 p.m. on a December night in Riverton, Utah. 10-year-old Graydon was alone, walking home from basketball practice. At some point during his walk, he noticed a 4-door sedan driven by 2 men, slowly lurking around behind him. Graydon said he started walking faster when he saw it. The car then drove up next to him. The men inside rolled down their windows and told Graydon they had candy in the back seat, trying to entice him inside. This happened only blocks away from his house. He ignored the men and started to walk even faster away from them. A few seconds pass and he makes it to his house's front porch. His family had a doorbell camera, and as he approached, you're actually able to see the car in the background. He continues to look over at it as he walks up to the front door. He tries the handle, but realizes it was locked. At the exact same time, the car's reverse lights turn on, and it starts heading toward him. He begins throwing rocks to defend himself, and then runs to his next-door neighbor's house. Their door was unlocked, so he immediately let himself in and locked it behind him. The car can then be seen turning around and following him. For the next several minutes, the car lurks around the area waiting for Graydon to come back outside. Police were called and a report was made. Graydon described the men as being in their 30s or 40s with no facial hair. His family and the police have almost no doubt that the men were trying to kidnap him that night. This security footage was uploaded to TikTok in order to warn others to be aware of their surroundings. In this video, the uploader, a mother named JoJo, and her son Daniel are returning home late at night. They open the front door and go inside.
Go shower really fast. I need you to go shower. Please, Daniel. Who's that?
Once they close the door behind them, a man can be seen in the frame walking up to the house. He immediately tries opening the door. They notice the clear sound of someone grabbing the front door handle only seconds after JoJo had locked it. She looks outside and sees this man. She yells out for him to leave. The man takes one step back but stays in front of the camera.
Who is that? Get out of here! Get out of here! There's a guy outside.
He doesn't respond. Rather, just stands there with a blank expression. Whether he'd been following the two all the way back home, or if he was camped out next to the home, specifically waiting for them to return, is unclear. It's also unclear what he planned to do if that door had been unlocked. JoJo called the police, but the man was gone by the time they arrived, so it's likely we'll never be able to know for sure. This video was uploaded to TikTok in September of 2022. The uploader said it was about 3 a.m. when his doorbell camera captured a man walking across the street. He walks directly toward the house's front porch and eventually ran up to the camera, at which point you can see the man is wearing a mask with a drawn-on mustache. The homeowner eventually woke up from all the notifications on his phone. He sees the man looking inside through his windows and trying to open his door. To this, he immediately threw on some clothes and went outside to confront the man. Didn't find him, he decided to call the police and file a report. It's likely that nothing came of this, and no update was given. But, considering the man was wearing a mask, he'll likely never be identified. This home security camera in Overland Park, Kansas captured the home robbery of 21-year-old Katie O'Connor. What's most shocking and terrifying about this is that it didn't occur while she was out. Instead, Katie was home and being held hostage while the robbery was taking place. She's helpless.
Don't move.
Oh my gosh.
But even more unsettling is how the three got into the house in the first place. It turns out the woman walking around the house, Cheyenne Watts, who was also taking part in the robbery, was up until that point what Katie would consider a good friend. They'd been friends for a while and would even schedule playdates for their children. And so, earlier this day, when Cheyenne came to Katie's door, she was of course let in without question. But to Katie's shock, this time she had two other men with her, who all had the intent to hold her hostage in her home as the three of them robbed her. Eventually, the man holding Katie in the headlock would notice a cord and assume it was for a camera somewhere in the home.
It's just court. Where's the camera? Shut the door and lock it.
Please, I need.
Where's the camera? Lock the door. Don't say nothing. Where is it?
It's on the wall.
Okay, where's the video footage? Where's the footage?
It's on Wi-Fi.
Where's the footage?
It's not there. It's wireless.
Finally, the three locate the camera and pointed it away from them, but failed to unplug it, which wouldn't really matter anyway because the whole thing was already being uploaded to the cloud in real time. However, because they didn't unplug it, you can hear them begin to turn on each other as they realize there's nothing they can do to get rid of the footage as, again, all of it has already been stored on an off-site hard drive.
No, don't put this on. Really? You're gonna try and make it look like I'm...
Shut up. Everybody's talking to you. Shut up.
Finally, they unplugged the camera, but it's already too late. Still, the three proceed with the robbery, and in the end they leave with a set of tools, a safe, and cash Katie had saved up for school and rents. Fortunately, Katie would end up getting out of the situation unharmed. Later, Cheyenne and one of the men would be found and arrested by police. The other man, the one that held Katie in a headlock, has yet to be found.